This is the QTV Nightly News, and I am Loliam Kamara. Thank you for joining us. Here are the headlines. Children's National Assembly members on Friday engaged two government ministers and the UNICEF country representative to discuss the theme for this year's International Day of the African Child, planning and budgeting for children's welfare. During the latest Monetary Policy Committee briefing, the governor of the Central Bank of the Gambia has reaffirmed that the dalasi remains the Gambia's sole legal tender. Lawmakers at the National Assembly scrutinized the report of the Select Committee on Tourism, Arts, Culture, Youth and Sports after the committee's recent follow-up tour to select sporting facilities and cultural heritage sites across the country. In international news, Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic Party's New York mayoral nominee, thanked supporters, including Gambians in New York, in his viral victory speech, which has been viewed by millions worldwide. In sports news, with a week to go to kick off, excitement is building ahead of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON in Morocco. Those were the headlines. Now the news in detail. Children's National Assembly members on Friday engaged two government ministers and the UNICEF country representative to discuss this year's theme, International Day of the African Child, theme planning and budgeting for children's welfare. Jena Basongo has the details.
Looking at the budget allocated to the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, which is 0.19%, and looking at how broad the ministry is, having women and children and even social activities under the ministry. Do you have any plans in increasing the allocations for the ministry, because it covers every part that touches the parts of the lives of children?
Karamo Jame, Children's National Assembly member for Banjul South, is part of over 20 children who engaged Fatou Kinte, Minister of Gender, Children and Social Welfare, Sidi Keita, Minister of Finance, and Nafisa Binti Safir, the UNICEF country representative. The UNICEF country representative highlights the importance of proper planning and budgeting for children in the Gambia.
We cannot implement anything, we cannot realize any rights of children if the budget is not allocated for that, be it for school, for birth registration, for protection, for health, for nutrition, for water and sanitation, just name it. Whatever you need in life to grow, to become a very responsible citizen, it is not possible without budget allocation.
The Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, CDM Keita, was the center of the high-level dialogue as the minister responsible for drafting yearly budgets. Minister Keita explains how the government allocates an annual budget towards the welfare of children in the Gambia.
And be rest assured, the issue of children is highest on the agenda. It is ranked as one of the what they call social expenditure for society. So when the funds are not enough, we will suspend investment in roads, we will suspend travels to make sure that teachers, healthcare matters, prenatal services, healthcare service delivery are attended to. That is why you will see that as sectors responsible for implementing children issues, they are always prioritized.
The Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Welfare was established in 2019, tasked with coordinating the implementation of policies and legal frameworks related to gender equality, women's empowerment, and the welfare of children and other vulnerable groups. Minister Fatou Kinte explained some interventions of her ministry thus far.
And we get the data from GBOS, where we segregate along the lines children with disabilities, the orphans, widows, and the list goes on. And based on that, the transfers are made on a monthly basis to these people that I've just listed. So that way, we are able to reach out to girls and children with disabilities, and then those who are also orphans.
Children in the Gambia face challenges such as poverty, violence, child marriage, female genital mutilation, and limited access to quality education and healthcare. This year's Day of the African Child, with the team Planning and Budgeting for Children's Rights Progress since 2010, is holding governments to account and further pushing them to allocate more budgetary resources for the welfare of children. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jenna Basonko.
The governor of the Central Bank of the Gambia has reaffirmed that the dalasi remains the Gambia's sole legal tender. He made the remarks during the latest Monetary Policy Committee briefing at the Apex Bank. As Usman Jatta reports, Governor Bua Saidi warned that conducting transactions in foreign currencies may lead to legal consequences.
The Gambia has seen a rising trend in the use of foreign currencies, especially the US dollar and CFA franc in local business transactions. This includes landlords demanding rent payments in dollars, a practice that economists say adds further pressure on the already depreciating dalasi. Addressing the issue, Central Bank Governor Bua Saidi declared that such practices are illegal. He emphasized that the dalasi is the only recognized legal tender for conducting business in the Gambia. The governor outlined several measures being implemented by the central bank to curb the increasing reliance on foreign currencies.
And recently the central bank has taken action. We started with government transactions that are in dollars that we think should be paid in our legal tender, and that is dalasi. And I've given directive that such payments, all payments will be made in dalasi. Likewise, any Gambian who is a businessman or an economic agent, whatever you do, whether it's rent or anything, asking for payment in dollars, CFA, is illegal. The legal tender of the country is dalasi, and we'll be coming with a press release to announce that, and it's against the law. And then later we'll try to implement this thing by ensuring that people who are going against the law will be prosecuted.
The depreciation of the dalasi continues to dominate public debate as it drives up the cost of essential commodities and transportation, placing added pressure on the average Gambian. Amid a growing trend, particularly in border communities like Farafenni, Governor Saidi announced that the central bank will soon issue a formal statement to address the issue. He warned that individuals or businesses who violate this illegal tender rule could face prosecution. Governor Saidi also highlighted the broader economic risks of bypassing the dalasi in local trade.
I know people are even asking for rent in US dollars. It's illegal, that's what I'm saying. And we'll be issuing press conferences. Because what that does, it adds pressure onto the domestic currency. You have a dalasi, and you should pay your rent, and they're telling you, I'm not taking dalasis, I'm taking US dollars. What that means, you go to the market to buy US dollars to pay for a rent in the Gambia. Is unfairly taking our hard-earned international currency that is supposed to be used to finance international trade, to bring in goods and services in the country.
The central bank's strong stance signals an urgent call for compliance with monetary regulations as it seeks to stabilize the national currency and protect the country's economic integrity. Usman Jatta reporting for QTV News.
In a significant session on Thursday, lawmakers at the National Assembly scrutinized the report of the Select Committee on Tourism, Arts, Culture, Youth and Sports. This follows the committee's recent follow-up tour to selected sporting facilities and cultural heritage sites across the country. Usman Jatta again.
In 2021, the government launched an initiative to boost domestic and international tourism through the construction of ecologies and the rehabilitation of key historical landmarks, including the Kirbach stone circles. However, the slow progress in this initiative raised concerns among lawmakers. As a result, the National Assembly's Select Committee on Tourism, Arts, Culture, Youth and Sports, accompanied by officials from the Ministries of Tourism and Sports, embarked on a 7-day tour to assess the current status of sports facilities and cultural sites across the country. Honorable Sekuba Namfo Basse and chairperson of the Select Committee led the delegation to gather first-hand information from the ground.
The primary goal of the tour was for evaluate whether previous recommendations of the committee have been implemented, assess the current challenges faced by these institutions, and explore possible solutions.
The committee visited key locations including Fort Bullen, the Barra Eco Lodge, James Island, now Kunta Kinte Island, the Kirbach Stone Circles, the Friendship Hostel, and other important sites. Names such as Yaya Menteng Sanyang of Latrikunda Sabiji and Alfuseni Sise of Same expressed serious concern over the slow development and emphasized the urgent need to protect and preserve key cultural and tourism landmarks.
Honorable Speaker, when you go to Fort Bullen today, you feel it is not serving that historical significance that Gambians should see as far as Fort Bullen is concerned. If you go to other countries, what you realize, they improve their colonial or their cultural heritage sites. If you go to this site, that's where you should look at to say yes, because you are there with the officials. If you have that documents with you, if you don't see those things there, you can question them. Why?
In addition to tourism and related issues, NAMs including Swebu Ture of Wuli East and Suleiman Jame of Bundunka Kunda highlighted the poor state of rural sports infrastructure. They called for increased budgetary support to improve facilities and expand access to sporting opportunities nationwide.
There is a lot of talent in the provinces. And unless we harness the talent in the other part of the country, we will not be able to progress in sports the way we want to progress. We cannot neglect them. We say development is inclusive.
And we encourage you to at least pursue so that, all these mini stadiums are done, and at the same time, at least factor some of this basketball court, volleyball, even handball.
Responding to the concern, Honorable Sekuba, chair of the Select Committee, assured the Assembly that the construction of ecologies is expected to be completed by 2026.
This money, or where it is spent, should have been yielding dividend by now, and facilities should have been in use. But unfortunately, due to circumstances, it's not in use. It's a collective responsibility to each and everyone.
The committee made several key recommendations, including the Ministry of Tourism and Culture must prioritize the preservation and protection of historical and cultural structures, and that more attractions should be developed to increase tourist length of stay. Osman Jata, reporting for QTV News.
We're now taking a short commercial break. When we return, we will hear from the Democratic Party's mayoral nominee for New York State, who thank everyone, including Gambians in New York, for their support. Plus, excitement builds ahead of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco next week. Stay tuned.
fii mooy fan fii mooy Inessa di place bi nga xam ne moom la ñëpp taaw place bii bépp xeetu ataaya bu baax rek bu dugg see ci dëkk bi xamal li fii rek la am bara wërga bii neex na lool saf na ba pare tamit nag am gu bu neex boo ko naanee rek da ngay kontaan ci saas añ ba suur ba gëreesal li nga lekk jëndal bara ataaya bii ndax moom la ñëpp taaw gis nga sama client bii ataaya bu neex bu ne moom laa koy njëkk a jox ndax moom kat ataaya bu neex rek lay wër bara wërga bii mooy wërga bi gën te moo gën a saf kon nag ràññee leen ko bu baax kon daw leen gaaw ca Banjul foofu ca Inessa di place bi nga xam ni foofu rek nga ko mën a amee wholesale wala retail mu ngi foofu ci boori court house bi foofu ca Banjul wala nga daw ci bépp marché bépp supermarket bépp boutique fépp foo dugg rek di nga mën a am baara warga bii nga xam ne moom la ñëpp di wër tey baara warga moo dàq ci warga yi man maa ngi ci moom ndax su ma maree ataaya moom rek lay naan.
Premium Basalt, now back in stock. In an effort to support the rapid infrastructural development of the Gambia, GATCH is proud to announce that our premium quality basalt is now available at our depot in Saro, near Denton Bridge. Our basalt has been rigorously tested by both national and private laboratories in the Gambia and Cape Verde, ensuring top-tier quality for road constructions, concrete, and buildings. Sourced directly from our partner's own quarry in Cape Verde, we guarantee a steady and timely supply thanks to the short shipping distance. We have 03, 38, and 816 basalt in stock to meet all your project needs. Every order is weighed so you receive exactly what you paid for. No guesswork, just precision. Visit us, Gach Depot, Saro, near Denton Bridge. Or call us at 457-4048 or 533-2009.
Welcome back, and this is QTV News. 40 Gambian delegates, including government officials, youth leaders and entrepreneurs, attended a pre-departure orientation ahead of capacity-building seminars in China. Bob has those details.
The Ministry of Youth and Sports organized the event to enhance skills, promote knowledge exchange, and strengthen international collaboration. The China-Gambia partnership continues to grow through targeted training opportunities aimed at empowering Gambian professionals and fostering closer bilateral ties. This latest initiative will see delegates participate in specialized seminars covering youth development, entrepreneurship, sports management, and public administration. Mamalang Sise, Senior Planner at the Ministry of Youth and Sports and coordinator of the initiative, provided an overview of the program.
We have 3 different programs, and each of these programs we have a number of participants that will be attending. For the first 4 programs, we have ethnic and traditional sport protection for developing countries. This seminar will be held in Beijing in China, and it will start from on the 3rd to on the 16th July 2025. And the second sport program that we have is the development of sport integrations with culture, tourism for the developing countries. And it will also start from on the 3rd to on the 16th.
The invitation, extended by the People's Republic of China, will also feature a series of specialized seminars designed for developing countries. Topics include the protection and development of ethnic and traditional sports, the integration of sports with cultural and tourism, and the management of competitive sports training. Bubakar Mansali, one of the selected participants, expressed gratitude on behalf of the group, thanking the ministry for its continued support and commitment to youth development and international cooperation.
I want to take this opportunity to thank the Minister of Youth and Sport under the leadership of Honorable Bakari Waibaji. This is a great pleasure for us, particularly the young people of this country, on behalf of the Kanifi Municipal Council. And we want to tell the central government that we are going out there, we are going to make sure that what takes us there, we will participate, and we make sure when we come, we make an impact in leadership, particularly in sports.
Bakari Waibaji, the Minister of Youth and Sports, commended the selected participants and encouraged them to make the most of the opportunity by gaining valuable knowledge and representing the Gambia with pride.
You are the one that has been opportune to benefit from such an interesting 2 weeks outside the country, especially for the country's second leading economy in the world. We want that this is the biggest delegation. We want you people to be the ambassadors and to show an example of why Gambian young people should be given the opportunity to go to China.
This program highlights the government's firm commitment to fostering youth development, promoting active engagement in sports, and supporting entrepreneurship and innovation across the country. For QTV News, I am our Bob.
Officials from the Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have visited the Regional Health Directorate in Farafenni to discuss risk communication and community engagement. Don Williams' story is narrated by Aissatou Bari.
Africa CDC is a continental-wide autonomous health agency of the African Union, established to support public health initiatives of member states and strengthen the capacity of their public health institutions to detect, prevent, control, and respond quickly and effectively. The Director of Health Promotion and Education, Michael Mangamendi, emphasized the importance of effective communication.
This is the purpose of this meeting is to collectively look at the strength of health in the country here, especially in the area of risk communication. How do we communicate to people? How are people communicated to? And how are they involved in the health activities and in the promotion and improvement of health in the country here.
Lamin Jabate, the Regional Principal Public Health Officer, underscored the significance of the high-level visit and its impact on regional health efforts.
The purpose of their coming to the Gambia is to have an interface with service providers, regional office or staff at the district level, as well as community structures, especially the VSG, that is the place support groups, and also the TCs, that is the traditional communicators, where they will have an interface with them to have some questions for them and also get response to see how best communication activities or community engagement activities are ongoing.
Mudunjai, the National Coordinator for Africa CDC, briefed officials on the composition of the community members, highlighting their vital roles and outlining key areas of interest for discussion.
We also have some challenges, and these are challenges that will come up during this discussion. These are areas that what they've also been contributing to risk communication in terms of, for example, COVID-19, Ebola, and other things, and even to introduction of new vaccines. If they are also involved in the introduction of new vaccines, and then we know that they've been involved in raising awareness at their various institutions, we also want to discuss around that. And also, if they also need some certain support in terms of their involvement, we also want to hear that. We're also happy to have somebody from the livestock services, and then, as you know, we are looking at health using the One Health approach.
Dr. Priscilla Mazinga Kusena, public health specialist and team leader, along with Abara Erim, technical officer at the Africa CDC, held group discussions with the community members. Participants included representatives from St. John's Catholic Parish in Farafenni, the Imam of Farafenni Central Mosque, the Department of Livestock Services, and Gambia Red Cross volunteers. Aisa Tubari, QTV News.
Coming up next is international news. Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic Party mayoral nominee for New York State, earlier this week expressed profound gratitude to all those, including Gambians in New York, for supporting his campaign in a now viral victory speech that has been watched by millions around the world. In this brief report, we take a look at his journey from Uganda to the pinnacle of U.S. politics.
Mamdani's journey is a remarkable testament to the American dream. Born in Uganda, he migrated to the United States at a young age, carrying with him the hopes of his family and the weight of a transcontinental legacy. Over the years, Mamdani carved a path through activism, community organizing, and local politics, rising to become a prominent voice for equity, justice, and immigrant rights in New York. While many had forecast and encouraged him to seek elective political office, none were prepared for what was to come. Not only did he succeed in securing the nomination of the Democratic Party, but his candidacy has since captured attention not just for its bold progressive platform, but for its celebration of multicultural solidarity. Supporters from across the African diaspora, especially New York's vibrant Gambian population, played a pivotal role in mobilizing grassroots enthusiasm for his campaign. He is known to have a strong relationship with the Gambian community in New York, and Aji Fantamarina, a young Gambian residing in New York and the vice president of the Muslim Democratic Club of New York, where Zohran was a member, is a prominent member of his campaign team.
It is the victory of the 18-year-old who voted in their first ever election. And it is the victory of the Gambian uncle who finally saw himself and his struggle in a campaign for the city that he calls home.
As Zohran Mamdani prepares for the next stage of his political journey, his story stands as an inspiring chapter in the evolving narrative of representation and leadership in American politics. As the world embraces the rise of a new political star in the Democratic Party, his story is one of inspiration and perseverance, inspiring a journey that crossed continents and redefined possibilities. With a huge following in the United States and across the world, his family had moved abroad seeking educational opportunities and broader horizons. But even as he stepped into new cities, London, Toronto, and New York, Africa never left him. He carried its influence in his voice, his values, and his vision. He always credited his African upbringing as the source of his empathy and drive, famously stating during one of his campaign rallies, "The village I come from taught me that leadership is service. It's not about titles, it's about people." Perhaps his father knew something in giving him the middle name Kwame, in honor of Kwame Nkrumah. As he prepares to take on his next challenge, Zohran Mamdani continues to garner more support in the Gambia and across Africa. Answane Sonyasi for QTV News.
We wish him all the best of luck. Up next is Sports News. With a week to go to kick off, excitement is building ahead of the Women's Africa Cup of Nations WAFCON in Morocco. Here is Ade Durami with a brief rundown of the teams that will be battling to be crowned African champions.
The 2024 Women's Africa Cup of Nations, officially known for sponsorship reasons as the 2024 Total Energies Women's Africa Cup of Nations and as WAFCON 2024 for short, will be the 15th edition of the biennial African Women's Football Tournament organized by the Confederation of African Football (CAF). It will be hosted by Morocco in consecutive editions, thus making them the first country to host back-to-back WAFCON editions. The tournament will run from the 5th to the 26th of July 2025 and will see 12 teams battling it out to be the champions of Africa. So let us introduce you to the groups. Group A features host Morocco, joined by Zambia from Southern Africa, Senegal from West Africa, and DR Congo from Central Africa. Meanwhile, in Group B, we have Tunisia from North Africa, Nigeria from West Africa, Algeria again from North Africa, and Botswana from Southern Africa. Group C features the defending champion South Africa, and they will be joined by Ghana from West Africa, Mali also from West Africa, and Tanzania from Eastern Africa. The tournament kicks off with host Morocco taking on Zambia at the Olympic Stadium in Rabat on the 5th of July. If the previous tournament is anything to go by, we can look forward to a feast of football over the coming weeks. For QTV News, I am Ade Darami.
That's all for now in this news bulletin. Join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. for Weekend Review with Ade Durami and Momo Dumboj. Thanks for watching.